Make sure you listen to my daddy's podcast right now. Is it best show in the world?
And this is the Cards Face Up podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Ty Hill. Listen, y'all know what we do over here. We like to build those moments in time, those moments in history, those nostalgic times, those nostalgic moments, those things that make you smile, the things that make you remember why life is so wonderful, right? Today's guest, just like normal, is somebody special, right? It's a treasure to the urban culture. In West Philadelphia, born and raised in the playground. That's where I spent. No, it's not Will Smith, right? It's not Will Smith. I want y'all to understand that, right? It's not the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But Philly did teach her about the streets, gave her knowledge and personal experience with all of the streets had to offer, from drugs, sex, crime, love, violence, and everything in between, which allowed her to carve her name in our hearts for years and on our bookshelf, in our tablets, on our iPads, everywhere. It's just there. In my opinion, her first book might have coined one of the most popular terms I've ever heard. I'm talking about doctors in the white collars was using it. I'm talking about your drug dealers on the corner was using it. I'm talking about every rapper, everybody said, I'm true to the game. Everybody was using it. I don't think you get your props for that. That's first and foremost. You don't get props for coining that phrase, true to the game. So look, without further ado, we're talking to one of the pioneers of self-publishing. We're talking to one of the pioneers of urban fiction. Yes, y'all. One of the pioneers, not just the author. She's a boss. I'd like to welcome to the show, Miss Teri Wood.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
I am blessed. Thank you for coming.
That's a great intro.
It's easy. It's easy because all I did was tell the truth. It's one thing that I didn't say. I think you might have been the first author to cross over to the men.
To cross over to the what?
To the men. I remember being in school and you had dudes reading your book. And I had never seen that before. I'd never seen the hood guy that wanted to read up on that. And urban fiction wasn't big. And you're one of those people that actually opened that door.
I have looked at that. That's I have looked at your analogy from that lens before, from that scope per se, and I can see where back when the book was first written and first came out, and I was selling it in 1998 out the trunk of my car. There wasn't a lot of readership in the inner city at that time, and you might have had people who read Donald Goines and Iceberg Slim and those books, and it was easy for them to relate if I, said this was like that. Or there was a book out at that time when I first started. It was The Coldest Winter Ever, but it was published by a major publisher. So the sort of difference was that, True to the Game didn't have a publishing company behind it. I had to sell it myself. And I really had to carry it on my back and really sell the book myself. And that I think that people really, really do miss that part of it. But for inmates and a lot of Black men, your statement is absolutely true. That was one of the first books that they say they ever read in their life.
Yeah, and listen, I'm one that can vouch. I saw it happen firsthand. So we thank you for that. I want to know, you speaking of that journey, releasing in 1998, but you wrote it in 1992. Am I correct?
I started writing it in 92 and I copywrote it in 93.
Got you. Now, tell us what it was like pursuing that dream despite, because you didn't plan on selling it out your trunk. You didn't plan on being independent. What was it like to continue to pursue even though you were being rejected everywhere? How was that? Because our fans sometimes, discouragement is real and it stops us from our dreams.
I mean, I think that back then it was a different time. So it was just a different time. It's totally different now. You don't have the discouragement. If anything, you have um, more probably, just looking on just looking out on the outside and just looking in, you probably have um, more outlets and means to publish. So back then, you didn't really have any way. You didn't have a way to figure it out. You didn't have all these companies saying, download my file or download your file, and we'll print you or we'll ebook you or we'll, help you become an author or whatever. You didn't have any of that. You didn't have the internet. You didn't have um, any Google. So it was really different, and it's not really easy to compare now to then at all. I
Right.
started with a handmade book. It was typed on a typewriter, and I actually ended up at a stationery shop in South Philly. And the lady, Noveline Tanksley, she uh, handmade the books with crazy glue, and it was Jimmy the Saint. Shout out to Jimmy the Saint, who lived around the corner from me on 45th. No, oh, don't let me get that wrong. 46 and Market. And I lived on 45th and Sansom. And he, Jimmy the Saint, gave you True to the Game. Don't let it be me. Just saying. So if it wasn't for him introducing me to Noveline, she really sat there and handmade those books and literally put them together with some kind of glue. And it was typed on a typewriter and it had no real cover. And yeah, that was the beginning. And I used to walk by Jimmy's house every day going to work as a legal secretary. I would get on the L and make my way down to Center City. And that's how we started. And that was the beginning.
Wow. So I'm glad you touched on a legal secretary. How did you leave the law firm to go for this dream? What was it? You walked out or what?
I never believe in doing anything like that. That's not what I would do or tell my children to do. So I did not do that. That's not what happened. What happened was that I remained a legal secretary, and I did lose a few jobs behind my books and behind my pursuit. Okay. But you can't just quit your day job and go jump off some mountain. That's not reality for me. So for me, I um I actually entered this contest on Radio One. Shout out to Radio One. It was I'll never forget it. I actually put it in my book. I don't know if you read my book, but I did Teri's Game. And I talk
Right.
about how I did this. There was this radio contest. It was like a treasure hunt. You had to go find things, and if you found all 20 things, you would win $10,000. And I found all 20 things. And it was Egypt Sherrod. And oh my God, I can't think of her name. Oh my God. And I love her. Oh God, where is she? Oh my God. I can't think of her name right now, but I want to say she ended up working with Kevin Lyles. She was running the radio station. Amber Noble. Amber Noble, I think. Amber. Amber in Egypt. Anyway, yep, they had to give him a 10,000. Yep. I won the contest. And so anyway, I actually took that money, but I already had sort of my book by then because I had borrowed credit cards from 3 of my family members to help me get started. And that's when I really did the real book, not the stationery shop. I went and got a barcode. I figured out some things. I had to really edit it and set my pages properly and do all that. And then I went to print. And right after I went to print, I won this contest on the radio. And I was able to pay everybody back, and I had a little bit of money left, and I started selling books out the trunk of my car. And I did it in I left Philly, but I was still a legal secretary. And I was a legal secretary when I won the $10,000. And I was a legal secretary when I was doing the treasure hunt. And then I started going to I started going to New York, and I would stand under the Apollo sign and in front of the Mart 125, and I would sell my books on 125th Street in Harlem. And I would sleep in my car sometimes because I couldn't make it back to Philly. And then I would go back to Philly and be at work Monday morning, but I would spend my weekends in New York. So that's what I was doing.
Hustle. So you the definition of getting it out the mud, like the young people say, right?
But see, this was the thing. Like, like my little hustle in New York, because, Philly's like 2.5 hours away from New York City. But my little hustle in New York, it was growing. It was growing really big. So I had like these really big Denali's pulling up on me. You got to remember, this was like 30 years ago. I was like, well, it was definitely 25 years ago in 2000 when I started going to New York. But I was going to New York before then because I would party in New York with everybody. Anyway, that's so long. We don't have to talk about my partying. Worry about yours. Don't worry about mine. Anyway, yeah, I would be up there and I would be selling books. And so then like all these people started pulling up on me. And then I just started meeting people, and they were so kind and they were so good to me. And it was just amazing. And when I think back to it, it's sort of like, really, like I would meet these ladies, they would buy my book one week and then they might see me later and they'd be like, girl, call me if you need anything while you up here. Look, we going to drinks. You want to come with us? I'd be like, okay. And they'd be like, girl, come. And next thing you know, I'm on their couch and they done took me in. And then it was Eddie, who used to work at the candy store for Branson, used to work at Branson's candy shop on 152nd and St. Nick. And he pulled up on me in his Denali. And he really set it off in Harlem, especially the Sugar Hill area, because Eddie was so mean. And then like he put my book in his dashboard, rest in peace, Eddie. But anyway, and then he was saying, like how Branson was requesting my presence, and so and so was requesting my presence, and then before I know it, everybody was requesting my presence. And so it was a really good look. But this is what people don't really understand. In 2001, I met, and I talk about, this is my book, Teri's Game. I love this book. It's the best book ever. Nobody read it. Don't worry about it.
We're gonna make sure we post.
No one read it. They missed it. Nobody's reading anymore, so don't worry about it. But this is what happened. I met Method Man, and he introduced me, and he was really, really nice. He was very kind, and he was a little mean, very mean. We were younger then. People were mean, you know what I mean? But that's not the point. The point is I was actually stepping on his coat, which was actually invading his space. Personal space is an arm length away. But he introduced me to James Ellis, and I met a fabulous girl by the name of Shauna Gar, and they put a deal together for me with Cash Money Millionaires. At the time, Baby and Slim were the first movie deal that I had for True to the Game. And that was in 2001. Ellis found me like borderline out the trunk of my car in a hotel, stalking Redman and Method Man, who are, like I said, they're like my babies. So yeah, that shit changed my whole life. And now the money that Cash Money really put me in the game per se. And Cash Money and that deal that I did in 2001 with them, even though it didn't, come to fruition and the rights reverted back to me, that was, the breaking point where I said, okay, I don't have to work now, because that was a 6-figure deal. And that was in early 2000. And so I was able to do what I really needed to do for my business. I was able to relocate to New York. And then Branson got me offices on 26th and Broadway, which was really amazing because I was like really in the heart of it. So back then in the early 2000s, there were like certain spots in New York, like certain blocks that were hot, like literally hot. I mean, like on anyway, trying to remain professional. Yeah, 25th and Broadway was definitely one of those blocks because you had Violator, which means you had 50, you had Eminem, you had, everybody over there at Violator, from Missy Elliott. It's no telling who you could see on 25th Street at 25th and Broadway. And then one of the other hot blocks was 40th and 8th, because that was the Rockefeller building over on 40th and 8th. That was really hot over there. I mean, so hot. And then you had, I want to say 21st. Was that 21st in Broadway where Justin's was? And Cheetahs, Club Cheetahs. So all that became my life, my circumference, everything was sort of revolving around my offices on 25th and Broadway. Like I said, you turn the corner and, you had Violator, Chris Lighty, and then you had up the street, you had Henchman Records, and later you would have Jay-Z come on the block with 4040. I mean, the block was, just saying.
It was hot for real. So what do you think?
I can't wait to go to work. Look, I can't wait to get to work. Oh, let me get up today. What am I going to wear? It was great. It was a great time. It was the best time ever. It was the best time of my life. And I was selling books like crazy. And what people don't really realize about that time is, so for me, when I look back on it, like I wasn't allowed to be in bookstores and I wasn't welcome in Black bookstores either. So take that in.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why weren't you welcome in Black?
Because they were fucking protesting me.
For the content of what was in the book?
Yeah. Blacks were protesting. So your Black authors from American fiction, those bitches stood up way before I got started. And then they continued to stand the fuck up. That shit's real. That movie's real. They felt that. So because they couldn't get a fucking deal, they were mad at us and all the other Black authors, all the other what they called urban authors. We weren't real authors. Shaqueen is baby daddy. That shit. Yeah, they didn't like it. It was a problem. And in the beginning, I wasn't even allowed in Black bookstores. So I had no choice but to go sell it out the trunk of my car. Had no choice but to sell it to inmates. So I started a prison business. That's how I started. I don't know what you guys think is going on. Work around it. Figure out a way to get around it. Just like now, you're going to have to figure out a way to get around all of this stuff out here. And, but what I learned was that back then, going out the trunk of my car, going store to store, just it was just a lot of footwork that I had to put in early in and early on. And that footwork got put in. And then I started getting calls from distributors who were saying that like bookstores were looking for the book. And because they were getting so many calls from bookstores, they gave me distribution deals. And so I was able to get distribution for my business. I would say by 2001, 2002, I had major distribution. And I also had the cash money deal and the cash money. So that was that. And then when I got to New York, I got hooked up with the Tobagans, the Trinidadians, the, Islanders, my African distributors, CD and, Larry and Gail and A and B, Shout out to Raw, rest in peace. Wendy and oh God, what was his name? Wendy's husband. They were the only ones who wouldn't bootleg me. They were so good to me. I miss Raw.
That was
They
that was
used to
Kevin.
babysit my kids. I would leave my kids with Wendy and Eric Gift at A&B, and the brother-in-law was Raw. The brother was Raw. I would leave my sons with them while I went and sold books on the streets, or when I was doing something in Brooklyn. If I needed to go get my hair done or whatever I needed to do, I could leave my babies with them. They never bootlegged me, and they never participated in doing anything to hurt me. And they were the only ones. And I don't forget anything. So
I think that's something that we don't even realize, or people might not realize, is how real. I mean, we know music had its time that it was bootlegged everywhere, but people don't realize how real bootlegging was for authors as well. Like they was really, and
I
you
mean,
wasn't.
I don't know if other authors, I would, because I so focused so much on myself and I didn't really look outside that box too much. I stayed in my own box and I stayed in my own world most of the time trying to get things done. For me, it's sort of like the only way I can get things done. I cannot write a book. I can't do this if I'm worried or focused on what other people got going on or what's happening outside my own little head. And then, I've been doing children's books. So I've written about 8 children's books. I have like all these children's worlds. I really don't want to get started, but I have to because this is Ginger Giraffe and she's a showgirl from the Banji Brothers Circus. They're a wild bunch of monkeys that run the circus show and she loves to go to the bank and count her money. This is her Saving My Money with Ginger Giraffe book. She's going to go to the bank and she's going to count her money because, this is what happened. I didn't save in time to be scammed the fuck out of. So Ginger is going to help me moving forward so it never happens again. And yeah, that's what happened. So that's Ginger. And then there's Professor Toad Smart. Professor Toad Smart's the smartest toad in the land. He lives in New York City in Central Park on a lily pad, and he runs a classroom. And he's the smartest toad. And he goes to all the fancy restaurants and he shops on Fifth Avenue. He has a fabulous life. He's very rich. He has a lot of money. You're gonna love him. And then there's Big Bear. Oops, he lives in the forest, and it's like, and like you don't even want to go there where he lives because it's bad. It's really dangerous. And like if you go to the forest with Bear, you're going to have to hide because the people come into the forest and try to hunt his little deer friends and kill them. They will kill his friends and kill everybody. And so they're going to hide. And Bear isn't going to play with any people. He doesn't like humans. He's not going to fuck with you. He doesn't trust you. He doesn't want anything to do with you why? Because you kill each other. You kill people. You will kill his dear friends. He knows what you do. You will come to his house and throw your trash all in his yard. And if you have the opportunity, you will set that bitch on fire. Oh, I'm sorry. My therapist told me not to get so consumed in imaginary character. Oh, there. Yep. Imaginary. I'm sorry. So yeah, if you see, you'll burn his house down. You'll set a forest fire. Yeah. And nobody will have a place to live. Wonder where we get all this from, huh? And then there's finally Katie Kangaroo, who doesn't have a clue. She's so sweet and she just loves everybody. And those are my children. This is my Lucas and Brandon's playroom book. So I have like 5 of these that I did, but I only put out 2. And then I became a vendor with the Department of Education and I got like really caught up in it. And I started putting on this giraffe costume. Like 11 feet tall. I don't want anybody to miss me with it. I actually had it made. It looks just like this Ginger right here. And I go to the schools and I read to kids. It's what I do. It's what I do. And so based on my book, I developed a program called the Love, Values, and Morals program. So we can all love one another and have values and morals and start teaching them to kindergarten age students so that they know that they are valued, and that everything around them is of value, like their house and their toys and their school and their playgrounds and their pets and their clothes. But most importantly, they're valued because they're so special. And then teaching them morals, which are the good choices that you make inside your good heart, because you're good. You're just good. And that's my program. And so from True to the Game and Out the Trunk of the Car to this day, I've really learned a lot. And I'm just happy to continue to still, after 22 years, have my little publishing company. And I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think that with any
I'm
success, and with anything, um, you have to take the good with the bad, and you have to learn how to manage it all. And so I'm still learning. I'm still
I
learning.
think you might have been the first. We're gonna have to talk about this one because you might have been the first personality that I'm sitting here watching you show the many facets of you, and I'm like, wow, you're like wonderful. You went from hood to children. You literally are human. Like this, like
Oh,
to be
I'm
able
just
to
getting started. You've seen nothing.
listen. I am amazed. I want to touch one thing. First of all, I need all of these links. So please send them to me because I want to help being able to post them.
You
I
know
want
what?
to
I'm so
know.
upset because my website got hacked, which I'm not surprised, and I had to take it down. So, and I'm going to build a whole, I mean, and when I say hacked, I mean done, done. So, once I get my new website, I will definitely share it with you so you can share it with everybody, and they'll be able to go onto my website and purchase the books at that point.
Please do. Please
That's my
do.
plan. Yeah.
I want to get into this, right? And we have to. This is one of those things that the fans is watching. When I told them you were coming on the show, um, most recently you did a kind of a PSA, and I think me personally, I looked at it as more valuable than anything of understanding the ups and downs. And even when you talk about the children book, you talk about saving money or things of sort.
It's a PSA.
As far as a public service announcement, you kind of
Okay.
you did a video and you spoke on what you were going through financially, what you was going through
Because,
inside.
okay, because I've literally lost my business. Um, and I feel like it's by design. So I don't know what to say about being a Black woman in business. I'm sort of getting a little tired of having to pick up the pieces because people want to come try to knock me down. So then I pick up the pieces and I start again. They come and they knock you down. Pick up the pieces, you start again, and here they come again. And it's been a constant string of some really bad business. Um, and I've just learned at this point that it sort of doesn't matter how good you are or how good you think you are. And it doesn't even, honestly, now to me, matter how good my paperwork is. Um, it's to the point now where if you're not really a person of quality, then I just really would prefer not to have anything to do with you. And that's just where I'm at. And that is because um, of what I've seen, how the industry has treated us as African American authors, um, and then how we have treated one another. Just no more. I'm good. I'm a little too old for this shit, honestly. And, you know, at 56 years old, I've worked all my life. I've done nothing but work. And, you know, regarding my PSA, no, I've never received my earnings. And I don't get earnings from Manny Haley. I don't even
That's
get
what I was
statements.
about. That's what I was about to ask. Manny was your friend, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
What from my perspective of watching, and again, I'm watching from the outside in as things develop. Right now, it's you saying that Manny kind of conned you out of your right, the truth to the game.
Let me rephrase that. I don't want to say that Manny conned me out of my rights at all. I did a deal with Manny, but there's things now that I see inside my paperwork where you know that you're sort of being set up from the beginning. You're being the paperwork, and it's you want to stick to it. You don't want to fix it. You want to ride it. Even if it was a mistake, that's not a mistake that I would do to a friend. That would be fixed immediately. And with Manny Haley, nothing is fixed. With Manny and Yolanda Haley, um, whatever's going on with them is out of the scope of me. And it could possibly, um, I mean, I don't know. I've never dealt on that kind of level. So it's not really what I do. I'm sort of like, just sign right here. Here goes your money. Here's mine. Here's this, and let's go. And I don't fuss back and forth about paperwork. I don't go back and forth about things that don't work my way. I'm sort of live and learn. And when it comes to my deals or my business or what I agree to or what we're going to do, then I do expect people to hold themselves out to that. I don't expect you to come over here and do a deal with me and then run off and go do anything and not pay me. And I have two people who have done that to me. One is Marvis Johnson of Urban Audiobooks, and the other is Manny Haley. So, and that's doing the films with him. So once he got my film rights and once he paid for the film rights and the movies came out, he never came back as far as statements. I don't know what my movies earned. Um, I can tell you that this week I've had to readjust because everything I thought wasn't real in a lot of ways. Um, and then I realized I found a reporter sent me a complaint that had been filed on behalf of Claire Kimball, where she had been scammed, securities fraud and fraud for $1.1 million, over 1.1 million. So, and then I'm getting all these other court cases sent to me, and I'm realizing that maybe I'm caught up in some kind of, I don't know what's going on over there, but um, who scams people for $1 million? I don't know if I could actually scam you and get $1 million in my account. I don't even know if I could sleep doing that. I find it disgusting and appalling. I don't know why people think that that's okay to do that to someone else and to take their money because they don't have any or because they feel they can. And so in dealing with Manny and Yolanda Haley, it has just gotten to the point where I'm now being extorted and I'm tired. I'm really tired of them.
Speak on it. How what's the extortion part? How is it extortion? What's going on with that part? If you don't mind opening it.
So for a really long time, I just wanted to know what my earnings were. And Manny kept saying that there were no earnings. And I believed him. Just For a long time, I did, but then I didn't after part 2 and 3. And I kept asking about earnings, and I just wanted to know what the earnings were, and that if there wasn't any earnings, even for me, that would be fine. And I was fine with that. Even if you only owed me $32.78, I just really needed my $32.78 because that's who I am. And I wanted my fucking earnings. And I've been asking for them.
So why did we go to 2 and 3?
It's because it's already in the paperwork.
That was the contract.
Right.
Contract was all
so
3.
I'm just writing the contract, but I'm asking for my earnings. And by the time 2 came out, it was 2020. By the time 3 came out, it was 2021. But I filed arbitration last year because I just want to know, I want to audit, and I want to know what my earnings, I want to know what the movies made. That's it. And you claim that there were no earnings. Well, now you got to come to the table. And he doesn't want to come to the table. He won't show me anything. So we're at the stage now where we've got to do a motion to compel. But he won't, he's violating my due process. He's violating me. Have a right to see. How will I know what my fucking 45 producers net share is? I'm 45, bitch. Give me my money. I'm 45. And so no one seems to care over there at BET.
That's what I was about to ask.
So,
have you tried to go out?
Let me finish. And so you got Dutch One earnings under a separate contract because my co-author Kwame wanted to do a deal with him so friggin' bad, and did. And so my Dutch One earnings, my Dutch Two earnings, my release fees, Dutch Two came out January 18th. I was due reports the end of March. I mean, it's internet. You could just take a picture of the internet page. It's an internet report. There's no more counting. You're not doing, they're full of shit. You send me this, you can send me the page, even Homestead. I don't go through this. Homestead, I don't have these problems. Homestead show you the whole Tubi report. You ain't gotta worry about them. They ain't doing it. They ain't got time. It is what it is. This guy won't show me anything. And so now, because I'm filed in True to the Game and we're asking for an audit, and he's, being told to come to the table and doesn't want to show the earnings. He never wanted to show the earnings. He does not want me to know what my half is. He's supposed to give me half, 45%, 55 for him. And he kept it the fuck all to himself. And because he doesn't want to do the audit, he won't give me my Dutch earnings. He's telling me that we need to settle True to the Game if I want my Dutch money. So I can't have anything. I can't have my True to the Game money. I can't have my Dutch money. And my Dutch money is in the 6 figures. And when he said that to me, I said, where I come from, that's extortion. And there will be I'm not interested in settling True to the Game. I wouldn't be interested in settling it unless you took care of the earnings that I'm owed on Dutch, because I'm not going to negotiate with you under financial duress. And even if you wanted to settle true to the game, I don't like that might have been able to happen, but not after the phone call I got last week. They're
Also,
saying
what is the phone
$20
call?
million has been earned on True to the Game 1, 2, and 3.
How much?
Over 20 million he got. I don't know if it's true, but I need my audit. And that's why I started my GoFundMe when he started extorting me. Like, how do you owe somebody over 100,000? But I mean, even that, how do you scam Claire Kimball out of $1 million? I mean, like, this is who we are. This is how we treat people. This is what we do to be on TV, and this is what we'll do to be published, and this is what we'll do for you to listen to our music, and we'll just do anything to anybody.
So, Teri, let me interject real quick. Let me interject for 1 second. Not to negate your feelings, but we got to ask the questions, right? And the questions is, when I was looking at that board of people talking under the comments, people said this is karma
No,
for
this
what you
isn't
did.
my
Now,
karma. No.
hold on. Let me, sorry.
I
Let
understand.
me tell you. Let me tell you because I want you to be able to give your side that you didn't get to give on these boards, and I want them to be able to see how you address exactly what they're saying. So this isn't from Todd. This is literally from what they're saying. So they're saying that this is common, and I just heard you mention Kwame as your co-writer, but on
Right.
these comments, they're stating that you stole Truth to the Game from him,
Who?
from Kwame, right?
You mean
That's what
Dutch?
they're.
You mean Dutch?
So it's Dutch is the button. See, I heard you say Dutch, but the comments are literally stating it's karma because of. So you didn't know Kwame back when you did Truth to the Game.
No.
So it's just Dutch. It's not Truth to the Game. But you just
So
now said that he was your co-writer. So why are they saying that?
what do you mean? I don't understand.
Why would they say that you stole it from him if you've given him credit as a co-writer? Did y'all write it together?
Okay, so let me go back a little bit. Kwame was the author who sent me a book called Ghetto Sam. Did you read Ghetto Sam?
I didn't.
No, you did?
No, I did not.
You did not. Exactly. No one did. I printed 40,000 copies of it. I absolutely loved Ghetto Sam. I friggin' loved it. At first I did True, then I did Be More Careful, and then I did Ghetto Sam. I loved Ghetto Sam. Oh my God. I'm telling you. I think me and Wahida Clark are the only two people that like that book. Wahida bought that book. She's the only one. I sold 39,998 copies, one to Wahida Clark and one to somebody else. Nobody read that book. Okay. I'm $40,000 in. And along with, well, more than 40,000, say $50,000 in print fees, giving Kwame in advance, whatever that money was that I gave him, I don't remember. And then also helping him get an attorney, hire a lawyer. Because at the time that I met him, Kwame was incarcerated with a double life sentence. And he said that he was innocent. And I was trying to help him, so I hired an attorney. And from there, he sent me another book called
What
Dust.
year is this?
This had to be between '02 and '04, maybe '01 and '03, '01 and '03. Yeah. And so when I got Dutch, I mean, it was okay, but it had to be rewritten because it was like Ghetto Sam, which was sort of like spoken word poetry to me, which I think it was a little bit maybe too above the intellect for people to follow. And so um I told him and what I was going to do if he wanted me to publish it. That's that. I'm rewriting it. It's okay, but I'm rewriting it. It's got to change a lot of stuff. I'm going to fix it up. Let's do what I do. And when I was done, he didn't want his name on it.
Why didn't he want his name on it?
Because it killed everybody.
So
the judge, hold on, the judge about to catch it. Hold on. The jury, all of them. Yeah, a lot got changed. And no, he said he was up for appeal. He wasn't putting his name on it. He was like, fuck no. And I don't think that he realized that it was, who knows what's going to be successful. I just lost 50,000 on Ghetto Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your shit is not selling. I'm in the hole. And this is the other thing that happened with Kwame and I think that it became a problem because my son's father stepped in. And once my son's father stepped in, most people weren't allowed to even talk to me at that point. Couldn't even talk to me. And
did you cut Kwame off?
And so, I mean, I still communicated with Kwame, but after the lawyer came back and said that there was nothing that could be done, and that became a problem too. And I have to go home with someone. And, so you over here hiring this nigga a lawyer, you over here giving this nigga money every time he call, you over here rewriting this nigga book and he and ha with him on the telephone and da. And I mean, yeah, no, no, it's over, it's done. And so at that point, my son's father stepped in and said, nobody's going to. Okay, so this is the problem. My son's father felt that, you're not a publisher. Go to Simon & Schuster. Tell them to go to Simon & Schuster. Fuck out of here. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're a murderer with a double life sentence. And why the fuck is your name on any fucking thing? Get the fuck out of here. No. Number three, you're over here making her pay your lawyer fees. Get the fuck out of here. No. Number four, you're not going to talk to her anymore. Get the fuck out of here. No. And that's all that happened. I mean, that's it. That was it. Nobody stole anything. And, when Kwame said he didn't want his name on the book, I respected that. And I said, well, and this is the problem. I create my own problems, honestly. I'm my own nightmare. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I live in my own fucking reality. That shit they're saying is fucking bullshit. So here I go. And I say, well, you know what? I'll just name you Dutch. And we'll put Story by Dutch, written by Teri Woods, because I want my writing credits after fucking Shannon left me. Fuck that. So I want my writing credits. Story by Dutch, written by Teri Woods. And that's what we did. And that's what's on the book. And that was what was on the book. And nobody stole anything. If anybody stole, let me finish something. Unfortunately, by book 3, me and Kwame were at odds. We were clearly at odds. And whatever he did or whatever happened, something happened. And I don't really know the full story. I just know the court side of the story. And so the court side of the story is that he gave the book to this guy, J.M. Benjamin, and then J.M. Benjamin ran off and stole the book from him, bootlegging the book along with all the other people in the industry. So I ended up suing everybody. I sued everybody, including Carl Weber. Carl Weber's the only one who got dismissed. How? I don't understand. Because he was selling it under the counter. I was sending people in his store in Maryland. He was selling that shit under the counter. I know what he was doing. He didn't go ahead and fool anybody else. You ain't fooling me. I know what you was doing. So I sued everybody. He can't, I said, let me be clear. Carl Weber was selling stolen shit of mine under his fucking counter. Are we clear? There's no fucking libel there. There's no defamation. Fucks we're stealing. So how do you change this narrative? Let me finish. Teri Woods.
Hold on. Before you finish. No. Before you finish, Teri. Hold on. Before you finish, don't lose your train of thought. Remember, baby, we here to love you. So don't say nothing that you don't want to say. I told you that.
I want to say no. It is true. How does Carl Weber get dismissed when we have the receipts? When I'm sending people in his store and my stolen shit is under the counter, under the left of the register.
Under the
You understand what you cannot change truth. And as far as anything else goes, the illegal printing and selling of any fucking thing that my company owns, you gonna be held liable, period. Leave me alone. Go the fuck over there and mind your own business. Stop worrying about mine. Go do your business. You don't even know half of you what you're talking about. So your little comments and your little bullshit, I don't, those are not my fans. I don't know them shit. They're not my fans. Fuck you. And you don't know what you're talking about. The truth is, I ended up suing everybody. Everybody is on that list if you Google it. And I also sued Teri. I mean, you can Google it. Teri Woods sues J.M. Benjamin. Him and another printer, Sam of Seaburn. I caught them continuing to print and sell my books in the marketplace, specifically Dutch 3. And I sued them and I won for $1.8 million. Why do you guys think that you're going to sit here and change that when you can Google it? Teri Woods sues J.M. Benjamin. And so all your little notes are from J.M. Benjamin and his little clique. But the truth is that I walked away and I've asked J.M. Benjamin to leave me alone. And I've asked J.M. Benjamin to stop. And I've asked J.M. Benjamin to stop slandering me. I've asked him to tell the truth. I've asked everybody, just tell the truth. So what, you're a co-author? I'm a fucking publisher. I can have as many authors as I want. That's what people don't realize. So you have Teri Woods, who plays a role. When I come through, I'm gonna put this shit. It's gonna be don't let me get my hands on it. But prior to me, I got a whole team. It's a publishing company. It's what I was doing. So and my job as a publisher, let me finish. And my job as a publisher was to compete against Carl Weber and Vicky Stringer, whether they want to admit it or not. Vicky, I had to compete against you in Triple Crown. My job as a publisher was to put out a good book, was to put out the best book, was to be the best. And that's all that mattered. But as far as stealing and all that, I don't know where they get that from. I don't steal. Why would I do that? Why do I got to steal something when I fucking own it? Why do I got to steal it when I fucking own it?
First of all, we're going to get you in some fucking movies. That's where we need to get you.
Maybe that's the problem.
Listen, I need you in Holly fucking Woods.
Problem. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem. Hold on. Maybe the problem is that I fucking own it. And I own my business. And I mind my business and have for 22 years. And if Manny and Marvis, Beavis and fucking Butthead think they gonna come over here and fuck with me, they got another goddamn thing coming. It ain't gonna happen. That's all that's going on. So you can go ahead, say whatever you want. Click, 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 click. I don't care. I own everything. Oops. And you know what? We gotta go. I gotta wrap it up because I told you, what did I tell you? 6:45. I told you.
Look.
Yes.
Sorry. We appreciate you so much, sweetheart. I know you're in a rush. I know you're busy. I'm glad that you got that out. I'm glad that you know that we're here to honor you more than anything. But I also wanted to make sure you got a chance to speak your side of the truth.
Well, that's and my side. And like I said, this is the thing. You know, I've been dealing with it. I never really spoke on it. I really don't care because it's not truth. And I deal with truth. And I can't sit up here and worry about what other people want to say. But I do feel like folks just seem to mind other people's business. And really, like, I'm starting to think maybe they believe this shit. I don't know what they believe. But come on, it doesn't even make sense. Why don't you Google? Just Google. It's all right there. It's common. It's public. You can Google Terry Woods sued everybody. Terry Woods sued Carl Weber. Terry Woods sued J.M. Benjamin. Terry Woods sued anybody who touches her shit. That's it. But I gotta
Listen,
go,
y'all know
guys.
what the fuck it is, man. Cause Face Up Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all of those great
No,
things.
and follow
Terry
my
Woods.
and if you can support my GoFundMe while I'm trying to get my money from these people, and I have other people still trying to hurt my business, because that's what I'm really dealing with. Black men and Black folks attacking me for no reason because they're jealous of what I have. That's all this is. And they want what I have, and they've been stealing money. That's it.
Terry Woods
They've been
sues every
stealing my
fucking
money.
body. Make sure y'all get out there and support him. Terry, we appreciate you. We love you. Please stay up. Please keep in touch. We'll talk to you soon. Amen. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your contributions to the game. We will be in touch. We will talk. Listen, Cause Face Up Podcast. Y'all know what the fuck it is. Stay in touch. Peace.
Bye.
I'll see you.